What's up, everybody? It's your boy Charles, Charles on Airs World. In conjunction with my new channel, The Griot, hit the link in the bottom of the description and check out my new channel, The Griot, and also subscribe to Charles on Airs World. Anyway, we're finna jump into this documentary about NWA and the birth of not just NWA, but of the West Coast hip hop movement. Just go ahead and check it out. Hit the thumbs up button, and I'm gonna come back with my reaction. Appreciate it.
You just showed your city council that blacks, whites, Mexicans, and Orientals can get together for a concert without killing each other. In the cities where they were allowed to perform, NWA's stage show was polished and professional. They had backup dancers, if you can imagine that. And Dre would get the crowd hyped with warm-up chants like, "Just throw your hands in the air and wave them like you're on welfare." Easy, who acted something like the headliner, wouldn't come on stage until about 20 minutes into the show. Many early shows were billed as Eazy-E and NWA. Despite Cube's pleas, this wasn't exactly a goodwill tour, and behind the scenes, life on the road was chaotic. The group was kicked off their first flight for arguing with a flight attendant. While they showed off fake guns on stage, they traveled from city to city with plentiful real firearms and munitions. Alonzo Williams went along gun shopping beforehand. "These guys are buying automatic and semi-automatic weapons to go on tour with," he said. "I'm like, shit, what kind of tour you guys going on, Vietnam?" Heller made sure that one tour bus had only guns.
For all you guys that are below the age of 20, back in the day before 9/11, you used to get on the airplane and they didn't go through your bags and stuff like that. Like TSA wasn't around, so it would be easy to be able to bring a gun onto a plane back in those days. Isn't that crazy though? Considering the times we live in now, like could you imagine a world without that now? Like, but you could literally get on a plane without having to have with a gun and walk around the plane.
While another had only bullets. Cube insisted they needed the guns for protection. He claimed that in Detroit, once with Ice-T, local gangsters came calling, and the assault rifles came out. But for all their bravado, they didn't really know how to properly handle guns, said one of the Ruthless's bodyguards, Joe Fierro, with Dre wanting to shoot with his hand cocked sideways, like a gangster. Though Eazy had an armory's worth of weapons at his disposal, including rifles with red eyes and night scopes and night vision, he had no expertise beyond street shooting, said Fierro, a Vietnam veteran whose nickname was KJ Mustafa. So on various tour stops, they went to firing ranges, with Fierro showing Eazy how to take apart his weapons and properly care for them. Fierro said he would contact local law enforcement to try to smooth things over before they arrived in town, and so the group wouldn't inadvertently wander into hostile gang zones. Despite constant badgering from the media, protesters, local community leaders, and fake-ass Jerry curl-wearing preachers, in the words of MC Ren, the group refused to remove Gangsta Gangsta and Straight Outta Compton from their playlists.
Good rap.
They agreed not to perform Fuck the Police, but things came to a head on the final night of their tour, on August 6th, 1989, at Joe Louis Arena in downtown Detroit, home of the Red Wings hockey team. The concert was headlined by LL Cool J and featured all-stars including Big Daddy Kane, De La Soul, and Slick Rick. Some 20,000 fans filled the venue. Rather than boycotting the show, the police presence was robust. DJ Speed, who was performing as DOC's turntablist, said he was spooked to see cops lining up alongside the stage. "Way too many police out here," he remembered thinking, adding that they had a command center downstairs. That particular night, all our personnel were working that venue. There were close to 200 of us. We were strategically placed, confirmed Detroit Police Sergeant Larry Quartz. NWA's camp specifically promised Detroit police beforehand that they wouldn't perform Fuck the Police. But Cube said the group had been besieged that day by fans asking them to perform the song. And so backstage before the show, they had a powwow. "Yo, man, should we do Fuck the Police?" There was no consensus, and Cube assumed the plan was a no-go. But after they performed Gangsta Gangsta, the crowd began chanting, "Fuck the police." After A Bitch is a Bitch, the crowd chanted, "Fuck the police," again. Same thing after Straight Outta Compton. While Cube was rapping, "I Ain't the One," he noticed Dre and Ren speaking near the turntables.
I ain't the one.
Shortly thereafter, Ren motioned toward him. "Wait a minute," Ren said, moving toward the front of the stage. To the crowd, Ren said,
High top fades.
"Everybody say, 'Fuck the police.'" "Fuck the police," the crowd roared back. Back by the turntables, Dre looked in Cube's direction. "Come in on 2." Dre counted it down, and Cube came on. "Fuck the police coming straight from the underground." "The place went stupid," Cube said. "Then we see about 20 motherfuckers from the back trying to bum rush the front." They were undercover police, members of the department's gang squad, it turns out, tossing aside chairs. Attempting to shut down the show, they climbed the barricade and began dismantling amplifiers. Suddenly, a pair of pops, which sounded like gunfire. They were actually firecrackers, according to eyewitnesses, although it's unclear if they were set off by police. Cube and Ren ran off stage, with Cube changing his shirt and looking for an exit. The cops made their way backstage, mistakenly pushing their way into LL Cool J's dressing room. Meanwhile, NWA loaded themselves into a van. "Go to the hotel, pack your shit," the group's road manager Atron Gregory told them. "We're going to Canada." By some accounts, the group's frenzied departure from Detroit did take them briefly into Canada, but they ended up back at their hotel. The police caught up with them there, and according to Cube, said they'd be going to jail. "But all they did was talk to us," he added. "They told us they wanted to arrest us on stage to front us off in front of everybody to show that you can't say fuck the police in Detroit." This version of events veers from the Straight Outta Compton biopic, where the group members are arrested outside the arena and thrown in a paddy wagon. In reality, however, 18 concert-goers were arrested outside the venue and charged with misdemeanors. Sergeant Quartz later said the decision to shut down the show was a poor one, considering the chaos it caused. NWA short.
So in the movie they were arrested. But in real life they didn't. They tried to go through Canada to, I guess, escape the police, but they caught them back at the hotel. So they never went to jail. Interesting.
Returned home to LA, but not before Cube made the police an offer they could and did refuse. "Yo, y'all want to do a song called Fuck NWA?" he claims to have said. "We'll produce it." The Detroit fiasco wasn't the only difficulty the group encountered during that first national tour in 1989. In early June, Curtis Crayon, the father of Dre's half-brother Tyree, and their mother Verna Griffin's ex-husband, suffered a heart attack and died.
Oh, wow.
Tyree took the news hard. "I don't think Tyree ever fully recovered from the shock,"
So they all got
wrote
different
Griffin in her memoir. Though there were some positive signs in his life, he had a new job and was planning to get married. He regularly faced trouble in the streets. "Everywhere I go, it seems that someone always wants to challenge me to a fight," he said. On the night of June 25th, 1989, little Warren Griffin, that is, Warren G., knocked on Verna's bedroom door. 2 white men in suits had arrived and wanted to speak to her. They broke the news. Tyree was dead. Apparently, he'd fought with a gang contingency and, in the scuffle, fatally hit his head on the concrete. He never regained consciousness. "I guess they were fighting and they fell," Dre said. "All of them fell and my brother was at the bottom." Dre received word at a truck stop during the NWA tour. He fell to his knees and began crying. He immediately flew home from the tour to grieve, help his mother cope, and plan Tyree's send-off. "I thought that everyone in the world who knew Tyree attended the funeral," Griffin wrote. She took care of Tyree's son Cedric while his mother was away in the Navy, and Dre promised to support them. Tyree had been Dre's best friend and biggest supporter, and he was profoundly affected by his death. After my brother passed away,
You know, Dre had a lot on his back. Damn. So he had to support his brother's son, plus all the kids he got, his mama. Like, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We probably was supporting his brother's girl too. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's probably why he was really. That's why one of the reasons why he decided to take that money, that $75,000. That was a bogus. You know, for signing those bogus contracts, and Cube didn't. You know, I can understand why Dre did it. You got your brother just died, so now you supporting your brother's kid, plus the kids that you probably got on the way, plus your mom. You want your mom to stop working, so it's like I need this 75 grand. You know what I'm saying? So wow. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it, cut it off right here. If y'all want, y'all can go ahead and check the rest of it out. Um, I gotta put the name of the thing in the name of the book. I forgot the name. I think it's called The OGs of the West Coast. It's on Audible. You can listen to the whole thing on Audible. Just look up West Coast hip hop. It'll pop up. I think it's called The OGs or something. I forgot the name of the book, but check it out. It's a really good book. Really, really, really good audio book on Audible. Check it out when y'all get a chance. Anyway, what do y'all think about this little excerpt about the birth of NWA and stuff that we didn't know? I thought that arrest really did. You know, you think a lot of times they change up stuff in these movies to make it more entertaining. So that's interesting that NWA never did get arrested in Detroit that night. They just got a stern talking to. But you know, I'm surprised they didn't get arrested for inciting a riot. That's what happened. They had a riot in Detroit. I remember this being on the news when I was a little kid, and it was on the news about the big thing. It was like a little small little riot, but they was able to get it into in downtown Detroit after NWA concert, but they ended up getting squashing it down before it got too out of hand. I remember this being on the news though, when I was a little kid. Anyway, what do you think about this story, man? Leave it in the comments and subscribe to Charles on World. Appreciate it.